Namaste. Today we are going to study fourth point of the Bhaishajya Kalpana paper, that is guidelines and methods of collection, storage, preservation of aushadhi dravya, concept of saviryata avahi, shelf life, concept of stability in ancient and contemporary science. This whole syllabus point is divided into two topics. First topic is guidelines and methods of collection, storage, preservation of aushadhi dravya. And the second topic is concept of saviryata avadhi, shelf life, concept of stability in ancient and contemporary science. First topic we are going to study is guidelines and methods of collection, storage, preservation of aushadhi dravya. What are the contents we are going to study in the first topic? First point is collection of aushadhi dravya, under which we are going to study place of collection, time of collection, state of drug collection. And the second point is storage and preservation of aushadhi dravya according to Ayurveda as well as from the modern techniques of preservation. So why we have to study the first topic of the syllabus, that is collection of aushadhi dravya and storage and preservation of the aushadhi dravya. Why we have to study this topic? As we are studying Ayurveda, in that Bhaishajya Kalpana, the medicines or the formulations are prepared with the help of herbal drugs. When you take as a Ayurveda medicine, we use herbal drugs, animal products, and mineral drugs. So these are the raw materials for the preparation of the medicine. So when we use these raw materials, we should know that the raw material should be collected properly so that it should have adequate potency in it. If it has the adequate potency, if we have collected properly, it will have, or there is a higher chances that the raw materials which are collected will have maximum potency. If it has the maximum potency, then we can expect proper therapeutic value or the efficacy from the final product. तो हमको जो मेडिसिन बनाते हैं उसमें औषधि की मात्रा ज्यादा होना चाहिए, या अपने औषधीय कर्म या चिकित्सा कर्म ज्यादा पाना है तो हमको जो रॉ मटेरियल हम कलेक्ट करते हैं उसको प्रॉपर मेथड से कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. ऐसे करने से क्या होता है, हमको जो मेडिसिन बनाया है उससे हमको ज्यादा चिकित्सीय अंश मिलता है. Second point is storage and preservation of the aushadha dravya. See, we have put a lot of efforts to collect the raw drugs or aushadhiya dravyas. So when we put that much of effort, it's our duty to store it properly. Okay, one point is that. Second point is why we have to study about the storage and preservation of aushadha dravya. Whatever the raw materials we collect might not available in all the seasons. So whatever available in this season, we have to collect it properly and store it properly so that we can use it around the calendar. Second point is, in our classics, in the next slide, we are going to study some drugs should be collected in specific seasons. Like this part of the plant should be collected in this specific season. If we collect in that season, we'll get maximum therapeutic efficacy from that drug. Hence, we have to study this syllabus, that is guidelines and methods of collection of aushadhi dravya, storage and preservation of the aushadhi dravya. So we'll study now collection of aushadhi dravya. So collection of aushadhi dravya, that is called dravya sangrahana. द्रव्य संग्रहण, कैसे द्रव्य को संग्रह करते हैं उसके बारे में हम लोग अभी जानेंगे. So collection of aushadha dravya we have to study under three headings. One is place, किधर से हम लोग द्रव्य को संग्रहण करते हैं. द्रव्य संग्रहण स्थला, द्रव्य संग्रह स्थला, it is called place of द्रव्य collection. Second is time of द्रव्य collection, कब करते हैं, कब हम द्रव्य को कलेक्ट करते हैं. थर्ड वन इज स्टेट ऑफ ड्रग कलेक्शन, कौन सी अवस्था में कौन से ड्रग को हमको कलेक्ट करना चाहिए, ये सब जानेंगे वन बाय वन पॉइंट से. तो पहला पॉइंट है प्लेस ऑफ ड्रग कलेक्शन, द्रव्य संग्रह स्थल. सो इन दैट वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी व्हाट आर द जनरल रूल्स. अभी द्रव्य को किसी जगह से संग्रहण करना है तो पहले जनरली क्या सामान्य नियम है वो जानेंगे. उसमें चारंगधर प्रथम खंड में हमको एक श्लोक मिलता है, दैट इज आग्नेय विंध्य शैलाद्याः सौम्यो हिमगिरि मतः अतः तत् औषधानि. आग्नेय विंध्य शैलाद्याः मीन्स आग्नेय द्रव्यास और उष्ण वीर्य द्रव्यास should be collected from Vindhya Shaila or Vindhya ranges, because Vindhya ranges almost all the seasons it has high climate, okay, or the higher the temperature compared to other parts of the India, almost in all the seasons. What about the Shita Virya Dravyas? Shita Virya Dravyas should be collected from the Shita Pradesha. So in India, Himalayan ranges or Himagiri considered as a Shita Pradesha in all the Rutus. So one should collect Ushna Virya Dravyas from the Vindhya ranges or Vindhya Shaila and Shita Virya Dravyas from the Himagiri. So general rules we understood now. Now we are coming to a specific land. How the land should be. What are the qualities of the land? Qualities of ideal land or soil we are going to study now. Sushruta Sutra, 47th chapter, 3rd shloka, they have given the how the qualities of land should be. Shubra, Sharkarashmavisham, Valmika, Smashana, Agatana, Devatayatana, Sikatabihi, Anupahatam, Anusharam, Abanguram, Adurodakam, Snigdam, Prarohavatim, Mridvim, Tiram, Samam, Krishnam, Gauri, Lohitam, Va, Bhuvim, Aushadartam, Parikshet. These type, the land, if it has these qualities, one should consider for the collection of drugs, aushadhi dravyas. So what are the qualities? It should be shubhra, it should be clean. Charkara ashma visham valmika smashana. Charkara ashma visham. It should not have big rocks, big pits, ant hills. Valmika, ant hills. The land which we are going to collect the aushadhi dravya should not have big pits, big rocks, and ant hills. And the land from where we collect the aushadhi dravya should not be smashana. It should not be collected from the smashana. Smashana is burial ground, और जिस जगह पर लाश को जलाया जाता है और दफनाया जाता है, उस जगह से हमको मेडिसिनल पर्पस के लिए औषधि द्रव्य और औषधि द्रव्यों को कलेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट प्लेस इज आगतना. आगतना मीन्स वेयर आगात क्रिया इज डन, दैट इज slaughter houses. Where the slaughter houses are there, from there we should not collect the medicine. Devata yatana, where devatas reside. From the near the temple or the where temples are located, from that region one should not collect the medicinal dravyas. Next is sikatabihi. Sikatabihi meaning if the land is having the too much sand, or the land is or the soil is too sandy, then one should not collect the medicinal drugs from that land. Anupahatam means these are should not considered. Next is anusharam. Anusharam means na usharam, anushara. The land should not be ushara. Ushara means it should not be alkaline or it should not be too salty. Bangura. Bangura means fragile. The land should not be fragile, means it should not be waterlogged. It should not be too marshy. Okay. अधूरोदका. अधूरोदका means दूर दूर तक पानी नहीं है. मतलब जो लैंड है वो बहुत ड्राई है. अधूरोदका means if the land is too dry, then one should not consider that land for the collection of medicinal drugs. So these are the points they have given for the should not. So next they have given how the land should be. That is snigdha. The land should be snigdha. Then prarohavati. Prarohavati means there is ankuras over the soil or land. Okay. So ankuras means the plant has produced the shoot in it. Okay. Yeah, or the land or the soil is covered by saplings. That kind of land should be considered for the collection of aushadhi dravya. The soil or the land should be mrudu. Soft soil should be there. Stiram, the land should be soft, but it should be stable land. And there should not be any uneven surface. The land should be even. Sama. The soil, the color of the soil they have given, it should be either Krishna or Gaura or Lohita Varna. Blackish soil or white soil or red soil should be considered for the collection of aushadhi dravya. So once again, we'll try to understand in a summary wise. They have given the qualities of ideal land into 2 points. One is should not and one should be. In the should not, they have given the land should not have big pits, rocks, and hills. It should not be medicinal plants, should not be collected from the smashana, agatana, devatayatana, and land should not have sikata, too much sikata or too sandy. It should not be too marshy, it should not be too alkaline or too salty, and it should not be very fragile land or marshy land, and the land should not be very dry for the collection of aushadhi dravya. How the land should be? The land should be snigdha, where prarohavati is there. Prarohavati means tiny or saplings are there. Snigdha, prarohavati, mrudu soil, stira soil, sama soil, and the soil should be Krishna or Gaura or Lohita Varna. So in general, rules of the place we studied, then the specific qualities of the land or the soil we studied. Next is Mahabhuta Pradhanata in the Bhumi. So Mahabhuta Pradhanata in the Bhumi means कौन से कर्म करने वाले द्रव्यों को कौन से महाभूत प्रधानता भूमि से लेना चाहिए. Okay, based on the karma of a dravya, that dravya should be collected in this type of mahabhuta pradhanata. So what are the mahabhuta pradhanata and what are the karmas of the dravya we are going to study now. That is from the basis of the place. Okay, so for that Sushruta Sutra has given the reference, that is Tatra Prithvi Ambu Guna Bhuishtaya Bhumau Jatani Virechana Dravyani Adadita. Means Virechana Dravyas are collected from Prithvi Ambu Pradhana Bhumi, Mahabhuta Pradhana Bhumi. Virechana Dravyas are collected from the Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta Pradhana Bhumi. Next, Vamana Dravyas are collected Agni Akasha Maruta Guna Bhuishtaya Vamana Dravyani. Vamana Karma Kara Dravyas are collected from the Agni, Akasha and Maruta Mahabhuta Pradhana Bhumi. Ubaya Guna Bhuishtaya Ubayato Bhagani. Means if the drug, single drug, does the both the karmas, then that drug should be collected from the Ubayato Bhaga. The Ubaya Pradhanata which is explained earlier, that is Prithvi and Jala, Agni, Akasha and Maruta Guna Bhuishta, means all the Pancha Mahabhuta Pradhana Bhumi should be considered for the collection of drugs which does both Vamana and Virechana. Next is Akasha Guna Bhuishtayam Samshamanan Evam Balavattani Bhavanti. Akasha Guna Bhuishta means if the land is having the Pradhanata of Akasha Mahabhuta, that land should be considered for the collection of Shamana Dravyas or Samshamana Dravyas. This is about the place of Dravya collection, where we studied about the general rules of Dravya collection basis on the place, then particularly the ideal qualities, the qualities of ideal land, then Mahabhuta Pradhanata for the Dravya collection. Next point is time of Dravya collection. Dravya Sangrahana Kala. So Dravya Sangrahana Kala also has Samanya Niyama. What is the Samanya Niyama? इन जनरल में सामान्य तरह से और सामान्य नियम है कि कैसे द्रव्यों को कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. शरत अखिल कार्यार्थम ग्राह्यम सरसम औषधम विरेक वमनार्थम च वसंतांते समाहरे. शरत काला should be considered for the collection of raw drugs or the drugs. From that raw drugs, if you can prepare all kind of medicines, or it can be utilized for all the karmas. Means for the all type of actions, you can collect the drugs for in the Sharad Rutu. Sharad Rutu is the best time for the collection of herbs or dravyas. If you are expecting to prepare all kind of medicine, or from the medicine you can use it for all the karmas. मतलब क्या है? शरद ऋतु is the best ऋतु for the collection of dravya, whatever the karma you want to do. Okay, तो अकेला कर्मा, सारे कर्म करने के लिए जो भी मेडिसिन का मेडिसिन बनाते हैं, तो आपको शरद ऋतु is the best time. So in specific, if you want to use the drugs for the Virekartha and Vamanartha, then it is better to collect the dravyas at the end of Vasanta Rutu. That is Vireka Vamanartham Vasantante Samahare. So this is the general rules or Samanya Niyamas, that is Sharad Rutu for all the karmas and Virechana and Vamanartha Vasanta Antarutu. Next is Saumya Aushadhani and Ushna Aushadhani. Saumya Aushadas are collected in the Saumya Rutu and Ushna Aushadas should be collected in the Ushna Rutu. Means Saumya Aushadhani Saumeshu Rutushu Adadita Agneya Agneyeshu. Means according to Sushruta, Ushna Viryas Dravyas should be collected in the Ushna Kala, and the Sita Virya Dravyas should be collected in the next is specific collection rules for specific plant parts. According to Acharya Charaka, अभी एक प्लांट में से डिफरेंट पार्ट्स होते हैं, जैसे पत्ते, फूल, ब्रांचेस, बार्क, हार्टवुड, रूट. ये सब अगर स्पेसिफिक सीजन और ऋतु में कलेक्ट करते हैं तो हमको ज्यादा फायदामंद होता है. Okay, it will be more beneficial if we collect the different parts of a plant in the above mentioned or the whatever the mentioned rutus. Okay, so what are the mentioned rutus now for the collection of different parts of the plant? Shakas and patras should be collected in the Varsha and Vasanta Rutu. Shakas and patras should be collected in the Varsha and Vasanta Rutu. Shaka means branches of the plant. Patra means leaves. Patra, example, Talisa Patra. Okay. Then if you want to collect that, it is better if you are collecting in the Varsha and Vasanta Rutu. Moola. Moola means roots. Example, Dashamoola, Brahat Panchamoola, Lagu Panchamoola, Nana Panchamoola. If you are collecting, you should collect in the Grishma and Shishira Rutu. Twak, bark. Okay. So if you are collecting, for example, Panchavalkala, Udumbara, Ashwatha, Vata, Palasha, Plaksha, all these if you are collecting, it is better if you are collecting in the Sharad Rutu. Kanda, Kshira, Sara. Kanda means a tuber. Examples like Varahi, Varahi Kanda, Vidari Kanda, then Kshira, Arka Kshira, Sui Kshira, Tara, Chandana, hard root. All these things should be collected in the Hemanta Rutu. Next is Pushpa and Phala. If you want to collect the Pushpa and Phala, obviously we wait for the fruiting or the flowering of that particular plant. यथा ऋतु मतलब जिस ऋतु में फल आते हैं, जिस ऋतु में फूल आता है, उस ऋतु में ही कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. So this is about the specific collection rules for the specific plant parts. Chakas and the patras should be collected in the Varsha and Vasanta Rutu. Moolas are collected in the Grishma and Shishira Rutu. Twak is collected in the Sharad Rutu. Kanda, Sara, Shira are collected in the Hemanta Rutu. Pushpa and Phala should be collected Yata Rutu. Next is time and method of dravya collection. So, कौन से टाइम में कैसे मेडिसिन को कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. गृह्णीयतानि गृह्णीयतानि सुमनाः शुचिः प्रातः सुवासरे आदित्य सम्मुखो मौनि नमस्कृत्य शिवं हृदि. शारंगधर प्रथम खंड फर्स्ट चैप्टर 56 श्लोका में बताया है वन शुड कलेक्ट मेडिसिन. टाइम क्या बताया है? प्रातः सुवासरे. प्रातः मीन्स in the early morning. सुवासरे मतलब शुभ दिन में. So one should collect the medicinal plants or aushadhi dravyas in the early morning in a good auspicious day. How to collect? What is the method of dravya collection? Method of dravya collection is one should collect the medicinal drugs. How one should collect? Granniyatani sumanaha. Sumanaha means one should have peaceful mind. सुंदर मन से मतलब कौन सा भी स्ट्रेस नहीं है, एंजाइटी नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. पीसफुल स्टेट ऑफ माइंड one should go for the collection of drugs and he should be in suchi avastha. Physically and mentally he should be clean. One is sumanaha suchihi aditya sammukho. Aditya sammukho means he should start for the collection of aushadhi dravya facing the aditya, facing the east direction. And then how he should be? He should be mauni. He should be in the silence and focus. Namaskritya shivam hridhi. Namaskritya shivam hridhi means one should show the devotion towards the Almighty, or one should offer praying to the God. By this, one should collect the medicine so that the potency of the medicine should be maximum. What is our aim? Whatever the medicines we are collecting, aushadhi dravyas we are collecting, it should have maximum, highest potency. So then only we can prepare the medicines with the higher therapeutic efficacy or therapeutic values, and we can use it for the to reducing the sufferings of the patient. Next is collection of Jangama and Pranija Dravya. So this is about the herbal we studied. Now, if you want to, or if we are collecting the Jangama and the Pranija Dravya, so what are the rules for the Jangama and Pranija Dravya? Jangamanam Vayasthanam Rakta Roma Nakadikam Shira Mutra Purishani Jirnahareshu Samhare. Means if we are collecting Rakta, Roma, Naka, Shira, Mutra, Purisha, we should collect from the Vayasta Jangama. Means the younger animals. From the younger animals, we should collect these things. And at what time we should collect? We should collect in the Jirnahara Avastha. Means the animal should be in a condition where the digestion completed. Means whatever the food that animal has consumed completely got digested. In that avastha or in that stage, one should collect the pranija dravya, that is kshira, mutra, naka, roma, all these things. So here we studied the second point, that is time of dravya collection, where we studied the general rules. Second, we studied the specific plant parts in the specific season. Next, we studied the time and method of aushadhi, collection of aushadhi dravya. Next, we studied method of collection of pranija or jangama dravya. Next in the collection, that is the third point, कौन सी अवस्था में हमको द्रव्य को कलेक्ट करना चाहिए, that is state of drug collection, द्रव्य अवस्था. यूजुअली हम लोग कुछ द्रव्यों को कलेक्शन करना चाहते हैं तो क्या सोचते हैं, हम लोग सोचते हैं कि सभी द्रव्यों को फ्रेश फॉर्म में ही कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. दैट इज यूजुअली देयर इज ए नोशन इन आवर माइंड दैट whenever we want to collect the dravya should be in the fresh form. Is it true for all the condition or for all the preparation of medicine or all the dravyas? No. There are few exceptions for that. So few dravyas are collected in the Purana Avastha also. Okay. Usually we tend to go for the collection of fresh form of dravya. But there are few exceptions. If we study that exception, we'll get more benefit from that drug. So what is the exception? So we'll study now. Navani evahi yogyani dravyani akila karmasu. Vina exception. Vidanga krishnabhyam gudadanya ajya makshikaihi. Means one should go for collection of dravyas which are in fresh form, can be collected. If you can collect fresh form of dravyas if you are going for any kind of action, that is akila karmasu. For all the karmas you can collect fresh form of dravyas. Exception is vidanga. In the dravyas, exception is vidanga, krishna, that is maricha, guda, jaggery, dhanya. Dhanyas means cereals and pulses. Shami dhanya, simbi dhanya, which you studied in Ashtanga Hridaya. Ajya means grita. Makshika. Makshika is honey. Madhu. Okay. So drug should always collected in the fresh form for all karmas, except drugs like vidanga, krishna, ajya, dhanya, madhu, guda. These are collected in the Purana form. So according to Sharangadhara, these are the exceptions. These dravya exceptions he has told. He told, right? So is there any references in the Brahatrayi? Yes. In the Brahatrayi, Acharya Sushruta has given the opinion that one can use Navadravya or Purana Dravya. It's okay to use both unless there is no change in the rasa, no change in the gandha, there is no difference in the potency of the drug. It is fine if you are using the Nava form of the drug और द पुराना फॉर्म ऑफ द ड्रग. आप नवा अवस्था में इसमें भी ले सकते हैं, पुराना अवस्था के ड्रग को भी ले सकते हैं, लेकिन द्रव्य में, रस में, गंध में, पोटेंसी में कौन से भी वेरिएशन नहीं होना चाहिए. सो दिस इज स्टेट ऑफ ड्रग कलेक्शन टोल्ड बाय सुश्रुता. So first point of the first topic, that is collection of aushadhi dravya, we studied under three headings, that is place of dravya collection, time of dravya collection and state of dravya collection. So second point of the first topic is storage and the preservation of the aushadhi dravya. मतलब क्या है, द्रव्य संरक्षण कैसे करना चाहिए. तो इतने एफर्ट डाल के हमने द्रव्य को कलेक्ट किया है तो हमको अच्छे से उसको संरक्षण भी करना चाहिए. संरक्षण क्यों करना चाहिए, सभी द्रव्य सभी सीजन में नहीं मिलते हैं. एंड पहले की स्लाइड्स में हमने पढ़ा है कि कुछ प्लांट्स को कुछ सीजन में ही कलेक्ट करना चाहिए, सो दैट विल गेट मोर maximum benefit out of it. Hence, we should, for example, in first Rutu, we collected the drug, but in the last Rutu, we have to use it. So, we have to, in these Rutus, we have to store the drug properly so that we'll get maximum benefit out of it. So, what is the storage and the preservation method told in our Samhita? Charaka Samhita has given the reference of how to store and preserve the aushadhi dravya. Grahitva chanu rupa gunavat bhajana sthanani agareshu prak udagadvareshu nivata pravata ekadesheshu nitya pushpa upahara balikarma vastu अग्नि सलिल उपस्वेद धूम रजो मूषक चतुष्पदाम् अनभिगमनीयानि स्वच्छन्दानि शिक्येषु अवासाज्य स्थापयेत्. मतलब क्या है? वन शुड स्टोर द मेडिसिन. ग्रहित्वा मीन्स जो मेडिसिन ग्रहण किया है उसको अनुरूप गुणवत भाजन स्थानानि, मतलब अपने जो मेडिसिन का गुण है वैसे ही गुण वाले कंटेनर और वेसल. भाजन में पतीला और कंटेनर. वन शुड स्टोर द मेडिसिन in the storehouse in the container which should have container should have similar properties of the drug which is going to stored in that container. The collected drugs are stored in the containers that should have properties similar to that of the drug. Anurupa gunavat bhajana sthanani. Next is how the storage house. Agareshu, Bhaishajagara or Agareshu, Prak Udagadvareshu. The storage should be built such that it should face towards the Purva or Uttara Disha. पूर्व की ओर और उत्तर की ओर फेसिंग होना चाहिए और दरवाजा होना चाहिए और एंट्री दरवाजा होना चाहिए, एंट्री होना चाहिए. And that storage house should be Nivata Pravata Ekadesheshu. It should have proper ventilation. Okay. And around the storage house or the Bhaishajagara, Nitya Pushpa Upahara Balikarma Vastu. On the daily basis, there in that storage house, one should perform Balikarma and offer the Pushpa to the god or the land or the storage house and upahara to that land. कुछ donation और कुछ कर्मों को करना चाहिए from the spiritual aspect. And similarly from the to prevent the infection, one should do the fumigation around the Bhaishajagara and in the Bhaishajagara. Fumigation with the help of Krimihara dravyas like Guggulu, Nimba. We should fumigate the storage house and the surroundings as well. Next is the storage house should not allow the entry of Agni. Anabhigamaniyani मतलब गमन मतलब आने के लिए, अनभिगमनीय मतलब आने के लिए नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए. कौन से किस किस को नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए? अग्नि, सलिल, उपस्वेद, धूम, रज, मूषक, चतुष्पदा. Means one should protect the storehouse from the fire, water. Upasveda means moisture from the earth. We should safeguard the Bhaishajagara or the medicines which are stored in the Bhaishajagara from the absorbing the moisture from the earth or the surrounding. That is Upasveda. Duma, where one should safeguard the Bhaishajagara or the medicines which are collected in the Bhaishajagara from the smoke or the dust. Mushaka means rats and rodents. Chatushpada means कौन से भी एनिमल चार पैर वाले, 4 पाद युक्त एनिमल्स. We should not allow the entry of rodents, rats in the Bhaishajagara. And the medicines are stored in the storage house. Shikkeshu avasajya stapayet. मतलब क्या है? Medicines are stored in the cloth or the wood container and it should be tied properly to prevent the entry of air or dust or any other which is mentioned above, and it should be hung to the wall with the help of hook. Shikkeshu means it should hung to the wall or the roof with the help of hook. Okay, hook में ऐसा hook है तो it should hung. Okay, ऐसे hang करना चाहिए मेडिसिन को, so that surrounding environment से कौन सा भी moisture को absorb नहीं करेगा. This is the method told by the Charaka. We'll see what other acharyas have given. Sushruta has given the medicine should be stored in this way. What is that? Plota, Mridbanda, Falaka, Shanku Vinyasta, Beshajam, Prashastayam, Dishi, सुचौ बेशजागारम इष्यते. जो ऊपर चरक जी ने दिया है वैसे ही सुश्रुत जी ने भी दिया है. क्या है? मेडिसिन शुड बी स्टोर्ड इन द प्लोता. प्लोता मीन्स क्लॉथ, मृत बांडा मीन्स मड पॉट, फलक मीन्स शेल्फ, रैक और शेल्फ में मेडिसिन को रखना चाहिए. शंकु विन्यस्त बेशजम मीन्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ हुक द मेडिसिन आर hung. Okay, it should be hung in the wall or the roof of the Beshajagara. How the Beshajagara should be? Prashastayam dishi. The Beshajagara should face the Prashasta dik. Dik is direction. It should face towards the north or the east direction. And the surroundings of the Beshajagara or the Beshajagara itself should be Shuchi. And this is told by the Acharya Sushruta. And one more thing told by Acharya Sushruta, which is important, Sarva Rutushu Abhidrate. Abhidrate means we should build the Aushadagara such that it should be convenient for the all the Rutus. Sarva Rutus means the Beshajagara or the land of the Beshajagara should not affect by any seasonal variation. It should be built in such a way that it should not get affected by any changes in the season. This is the storage and the preservation of the medicines told in our classics. Now we are going to understand the storage of medicines told in the modern techniques. What are the modern techniques which are told for the preservation of the medicine? Crude drugs. Crude drugs are preserved by two methods. Two forms of crude drugs are, we collect two forms of crude drugs. One is in the fresh form, Nava and Purana. What are the modern techniques they have given? Dry drug preservation. First is, if we have collected the dry drug, how to preserve it? It should be kept in between the two blotting papers, and whatever the moisture the drug has, it will be absorbed by the blotting paper. We have to press it so that blotting paper absorb the moisture of the drug. If that blotting paper does not absorb properly, or the drug has more the moisture, then if the drug didn't lose all the moisture from the blotting paper, then that drug should be completely dried under the sun and later it is preserved. That is the dry drug preservation. What about the fresh form of the drug collected? If we have collected the fresh form of the drug, how to preserve it? That is wet drug preserved by completely drying, or it should be the gamma rays should be passed through the drug so that the gamma rays absorb the moisture and later we can store it for the future purpose. So next is storage of prepared medicine. Medicines already prepared, the final product of the medicine, how to store it? See, the finally prepared medicine formulation starts to lose their potency due to different reasons. That reasons are studied or classified under three headings. One is due to the biological effect, second is physical effect, third is chemical effect. तो कैसे बायोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट से मेडिसिन अपने पोटेंसी को लूज करने के चांसेस होते हैं? ड्यू टू द एंजाइम्स और द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म which are present in the prepared medicines, causes the uh, medicine to lose the potency slowly. Okay, medicine starts to lose its potency due to the enzymes which are present in the medicine. The reaction of the enzymes which is present in the medicine, or the microorganisms which are there in the medicine, and their actions will lead to the will cause the medicine to lose its potency. To prevent that, we have to use the preservatives. What are the preservatives? Salicylic acid, benzoic acid, and sodium benzoate, methyl paraben and propyl paraben, sorbic acid and its salt, chlorobutanol, phenol. These are the preservatives commonly used to prevent the biological effect over the prepared medicine. Next is physical effects. Physical effects leads to the deterioration of the formulations. For example, there is any changes in the temperature. If the temperature is maximum, or the extremes of temperature will lead to the precipitation or the volatilization of the medicines. And the moisture in the surrounding also causes the physical deterioration of the medicine. That is, the extra moisture or the moisture which is there in the atmosphere will be absorbed by the drugs in the formulation and causes the deterioration. That is, if the medicinal formulation, prepared medicinal drug, if it is having the hygroscopic or deliquescent nature, then it will absorb the moisture from the surrounding and starts to dissolve. अगर आपने बारिश के सीजन में, वर्षा ऋतु में कभी साल्ट के डब्बे को और शुगर के डब्बे को देखा हो, तो जो सीजन का मॉइस्चर होता है, उस मॉइस्चर को एब्जॉर्ब करके सॉल्ट और शुगर पिघलने लगते हैं. Okay, that is to start to dissolve. If you store it, if you have stored it properly, these things does not happen. But if there is extra moisture in the surrounding, that moisture will be, there are higher chances that the moisture in the atmosphere absorbed by the drug, and it will start to dissolve if the prepared medicine or the drug is hygroscopic or the deliquescent in nature. For example, the medicines which are having the salt in the salt as a ingredient, sugar as a ingredient, then these may absorb the moisture and start to deteriorate physically. Okay. So what are the techniques which we use for the prevention of the physical effects? So one should take all the airtight containers. What are the different containers? Glass and plastic containers for the preservation of the drug. Here one should one should preserve the drug in airtight glass and plastic container. Next is powders are preserved in airtight drum. Next, the oil or the liquid form syrup or curds are preserved in glass or porcelain containers with tight and well-fitting corks or lid. Next, basmas are filled in small bottles, and it should be have proper airtight, well-fitting lids. Ointment and avalehas should be collected from the wide-mouthed container. Wide-mouthed container means जो हाथ डालने के लिए, निकालने के लिए आसानी होना चाहिए, बड़ा मुंह वाला कंटेनर we should consider for the storage of ointment and the avalehas. All these containers should have airtight and proper lids. Next is chemical effect. Chemical effect happens due to oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the water vapor in the atmosphere. The formulation will absorb the oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the moisture from the nature, and medicine starts to lose its potency. It can be prevented by adding the antioxidants like sodium bisulfate, sodium metabisulfate, sodium thiosulfate, and ascorbic acid. By adding the antioxidant, we can prevent the oxidization of the formulation so that we can preserve it for the longer duration. So next topic, that is the fourth unit of the syllabus, is divided into two topics, right? First topic we have finished now. That topic was guidelines and the methods of collection of aushadhi dravya and storage and preservation. Sorry, in a proper sentence, guidelines and methods of collection, storage, and the preservation of aushadhi dravyas, which we studied under two headings. One was the collection of aushadhi dravya. Second was preservation, storage, and the preservation of aushadhi dravya in the both the ancient and the contemporary science or the modern point of view we studied. Next topic of the fourth point of the syllabus is concept of saviryata avadhi, shelf life, and concept of stability in ancient and contemporary science. Okay, so here we are going to study concept of saviryata avadhi. Concept of saviryata avadhi. So before entering into the main concept of this topic, one should know what is saviryata अवधि. अब हम लोग सवीरता अवधि को पढ़ने के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो हमको पता होना चाहिए कि सवीरता अवधि मतलब क्या है, राइट? सवीर्यता अवधि, वीर्य तो कॉमन टर्म है, हम लोगों ने सुना है, उष्ण वीर्य होता है, शीत वीर्य होता है, अगर वीर्य है तो बलवान होता है, सब हमने पढ़ा है. वैसे ही मेडिसिन में भी इधर वीर्य को होना इम्पोर्टेंट है. वीर्य मतलब पोटेंसी. सवीर्य मतलब क्या है? स मतलब वीर्य के साथ, along with. स मतलब along with और intact. वीर्य is potency. सवीर्य means potency intact. मतलब क्या है? स मतलब साथ में, वीर्य पोटेंसी, वीर्य के साथ में. सवीर्यता मीन्स सवीर्य अपने साथ में पोटेंसी को रखा है. पोटेंसी इंटैक्ट. अवधि मीन्स पीरियड और टाइम. So what is saviryata avadhi means? It is the period until the potency of the medicine remains intact. It is the period until the potency of the medicine remains intact. It can be correlated to expiry period or the shelf life of the drug. So we have the classical reference of shelf life or saviryata avadhi, which we are going to study now. Acharya Sharangadara was the first person to explain about the saviryata avadhi of different formulations in Ayurveda. हमारे आयुर्वेद शास्त्र में शारंगधर जी ने पहली बार सवीर्यता अवधि ऑफ द मेडिसिन के बारे में बताया है और दिया है. क्या दिया है अब जानेंगे. गुणहीनम भवेत् वर्षात् ऊर्ध्वं तद्रूपम औषधम मासद्वयात् तथा चूर्णम हीनवीर्यत्वम आपनुयात्. हीनत्वम गुटिका लेहौ लभेत् वत्सरात् परम. हीनाः स्युः घृततैलाद्याः चतुर्मासाधिकात् तथा. औषध्यो लघुपाकाः स्युः निर्वीर्यो वत्सरात् परम. पुराणः स्युः गुणैः युक्ताः आसवा दातवो रसाः. तो शारंगधर जी ने दिया है कि शेल्फ लाइफ और सवीर्यता अवधि के बारे में कौन से मेडिसिन को कितना दिन, कितना टाइम सवीर्यता अवधि होता है. So this table explains that shloka, that is all the medicines in general. मतलब क्या है? तद्रूपम औषधम वर्षात् ऊर्ध्वम. एक वर्ष के बाद सारे मेडिसिन अपना पोटेंसी को लूज करने को स्टार्ट होते हैं। गुण में, अपने गुण में हीनता होता है, गुण कम होने लगता है। ऑल द मेडिसिन इन जनरल विल स्टार्ट टू लूज इट्स पोटेंसी आफ्टर 1 year. ओके, so what about the चूर्ण कल्पना? मासद्वयात् तथा चूर्णम हीन वीर्यत्वम आपनुयात्। मतलब क्या है? चूर्ण कल्पना will start to lose its potency after the 2 months. That is, saviryata is 2 months for the churna kalpana. Heenatvam gutika lehav labet vastarat param. After 1 year, gutika and avaleha, that is tablet and leha, starts to lose their potency. What about the grita and taila? For the grita and taila, they have given हीनाः स्युः घृततैलाद्याः चतुर्मास अधिकात् तथा। मतलब क्या है? 4 महीना अधिक होता है, किससे? गुटिका अवलेह से। मीन्स our grita and taila has the saviryata avadhi more than 4 months more than gutika and avaleha. That is 1 year plus 4 months is equal to 16 months saviryata avadhi for grita and taila. Lagupaka aushadhi are having the shelf life 1 year. Sorry, औषध्यो लघुपाकाः स्युः निर्वीर्यो वत्सरात् परम। वत्सरा में 1 संवत्सर के बाद, और आफ्टर 1 year it will start to become loose, it will start to lose its potency, nirvirya, or it completely seizes its potency after 1 year. What is lagupaka aushadhi? Aushadhi means falapakanta vrikshah. According to Shabdakalpadruma, औषधि means फलपाकांत वृक्षः। मतलब क्या है? वृक्ष will die after the proper growth of phala or proper paka of the phala. If the phala of that plant properly grows, then that plant will die. Okay, its saviryata avadhi is 1 year. For example, for the aushadhi, we can give banana plant. Banana plant gives fruit. Once the fruit properly grows, that plant dies. Okay, here we can take it as annual herb. Okay, so the saviryata avadhi of that aushadhi is 1 year. Asava, arishta, dhatu preparations and the rasa preparations पुराणः स्युः गुणैर्युक्त। आसवारिष्ट, द्राक्षारिष्ट, द्राक्षासव, दशमूलारिष्ट, मधुकासव, all these asavarishtas, many more asavarishtas are there. Dhatu preparations like swarna bhasma, rajata bhasma, rasa preparations, medicines which are prepared with the help of kajjali, kopi pakva rasayanas, pottali, all these become more potent. As it becomes older, it becomes more potent. Older, the better the potency. पुराणः, जैसे पुराण होते हैं, जैसे गुणवान होते हैं। पुराणः स्युः गुणैर्युक्ता means it has the saviryata avadhi infinite. जितना पुराण होता है उतना गुणवान होता है, right? So it has the saviryata avadhi for infinite period. So Sharangadhara has given only for few formulations, he has given the saviryata avadhi. So for all the formulations which we studied under the Bhaishajya Kalpana and Ayurveda, in specific in general Ayurveda, what are the saviryata avadhi? So all the different saviryata avadhi are scattered in the different granthas. All the scattered information are compiled here and presented it in a table form. Okay. So aushadha kalpanas are panchavida aushadha kashaya kalpana, that is swarasa, kalka, kashaya, hima, fanta. Then upakalpanas of kashaya, hima and fanta. Patya kalpanas have saviryata avadhi is only instant use. These things should be used for instantaneously. It should prepare and immediately one should consume, so that the medicine will having the potency intact. Next is Churna Kalpana, we studied, that is Masadvaya or 2 months. Arka Kalpana, 1 year or until the Arka remains clear form. Okay. If the Arka is distillate is very clear and it does not have any turbidity, until that we can use, or up to 1 year. Sattva Kalpana, 1 to 5 years. If it is stored properly, then 1 to 5 years. Shara, Masi, Lavana, Ayaskriti, Asavarishta, Madhya Kalpana have the infinite period. Puranaihi Gunairyuktaha. Puranaha Yuhu Gunairyuktaha. Rasakriya, Panita, Sharkara Kalpana, Avaleha, Gudapaka, Vati, Varti, Tiktataila, Malahara Kalpana have the saviryata avadhi for 1 year. Sneha Kalpana, Shatadauta Grita, Sahasradauta Grita has Chaturmas Adikat Vastarat Param, that is 16 months. Then the syrup, 1 to 2 years. Gel, ointment, cream, 2 to 3 years. Liniment, granules, Sharasutra and Gugulu Kalpana have different saviryata avadhi. That is, liniment saviryata avadhi is 3 years, granules 1 to 2 years, Sharasutra 6 months, Gugulu Kalpana 1 to 5 years. So this is the, here we covered the all the formulations saviryata avadhi. Next point is shelf life. Saviryata avadhi can be correlated to expiry period or shelf life. So what is shelf life? Shelf life मतलब क्या है? Shelf life of any product is the time within which it should be consumed or utilized. मतलब क्या है? एक प्रोडक्ट को कब तक हम उसको यूज कर सकते हैं, वो पीरियड को शेल्फ लाइफ बोलते हैं. शेल्फ लाइफ ऑफ एनी प्रोडक्ट इज टाइम within which it should be consumed or utilized in a proper way. It is the term or the period during which term or period during which stored commodity remains effective, useful or suitable for consumption or the utilization. एक commodity है, stored commodity है, वो stored commodity एक पीरियड तक और एक टाइम तक इफेक्टिव रहता है, यूजफुल रहता है, सो दैट हम उसको यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं और कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं. उस पीरियड को शेल्फ लाइफ बोलते हैं. तो शेल्फ लाइफ सिर्फ मेडिसिनल ड्रग्स को होता है क्या? नहीं. शेल्फ लाइफ applies to cosmetics, whatever we use for makeup. Cosmetics has shelf life. Foods and beverages, आप ये तो पता होगा, कौन से भी फूड, पैक्ड फूड हम लोग अगर कोई खरीदता है तो उसके ऊपर रहता है बेस्ट और एक्सपायरी पीरियड, बेस्ट बिफोर. बिवरेजेस, कौन से भी पानीय द्रव्य, अगर कोई जूस हो सकता है, कौन से भी लिक्विड हो सकता है, दूध हो सकता है. देन मेडिसिनल डिवाइसेस, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डिवाइसेस होते हैं, उसके ऊपर लिखा होता है कि इसका बेस्ट बिफोर, इसको इतने दिन के अंदर इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए. देन द मेडिसिन, एक्सप्लोजिव, फार्मास्यूटिकल ड्रग्स, केमिकल्स, टायर्स, डाइज, batteries, the list goes on. So all these have the shelf life, and that shelf life should be written over the final product. It should be labeled properly. Shelf life should be mentioned in the label of the product. Okay. So next is in the shelf life. So कब से shelf life start होता है? कौन से भी एक product है, या here we'll study, understand about the medicinal preparation. So manufacturing date is probably the starting point of the shelf life. Okay. कब से मैन्युफैक्चर मेडिसिन को किया गया है, वो शेल्फ लाइफ का स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट होता है। कैसे, कौन से तरीके से शेल्फ लाइफ को पता कर सकते हैं? शेल्फ लाइफ इज एस्टिमेटेड बाय द मैन्युफैक्चरर with the help of external laboratories. Okay, shelf life is estimated by the manufacturer with the help of external laboratories. क्योंकि मैन्युफैक्चरर जो है उसने पहले ड्रग को समझा है, ड्रग डेवलपमेंट किया है, बाद में उसी डेवलपमेंट के अनुसार ड्रग को प्रिपेयर किया है, स्टोर किया है, पैकेज किया है, बाद में हैंडल करके रिटेलर्स तक जाएगा। उतने टाइम तक उसके अंडर सुपरविजन में था, तो उसको ड्रग, इनिशियल ड्रग से पता होता है क्या क्या होता है, तो अलग अलग लैबोरेटरी टेक्निक से उसको पता करके वो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर डालना उसका जिम्मेदारी होता है। सो नेक्स्ट इज द मेडिसिन विच इज ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड एंड पैक्ड विल स्टार्ट, वो जैसे जैसे ओल्ड होता है ऑक्सीडाइज होने लगता है। एज द प्रोडक्ट्स एज दे will oxidize, or they can oxidize, and that product will decay. At the end of the shelf life, a product will not meet the standards. It will not, no longer that product meets the standards which is told for the particular medicine. So then that medicine or the content should be discarded. If the medicine lost its shelf life, it becomes unsafe to use. Food loses its nutritional value. Cosmetics loses its skin protective value. So if we properly pack the medicine and if we handle it properly, we can achieve the expected shelf life. मतलब अच्छे से उसको हैंडल किया है, अच्छे से पैक किया, तो जिसके ऊपर शेल्फ लाइफ लिखा होता है ना, उतना शेल्फ लाइफ हम लोग अचीव कर सकते हैं। टू इंक्रीज द शेल्फ लाइफ ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, preservatives and antioxidants can be incorporated into the some medicine and food products to extend the shelf life. The last syllabus point in the fourth unit is stability in the ancient and contemporary time. हमको आयुर्वेदम में ऐसे स्टेबिलिटी के बारे में उतना कौन सा भी रेफरेंस नहीं मिलता है। मॉडर्न और द कॉन्टेम्पररी साइंस में जो स्टेबिलिटी के बारे में रेफरेंसेस मिलता है, उसको हम अब पढ़ेंगे और जानेंगे। स्टार्टिंग में स्टेबिलिटी मतलब क्या है? स्टेबिलिटी मीन्स द stable, the stable form or being stable. Stability is the quality, state or degree of being stable. So here we are going to study the pharmaceutical product stability. The stability of a pharmaceutical product may be defined as the capability of the particular formulation in a specific container or a specific system to remain within its physical, chemical, microbiological, therapeutical and toxicological specification. मतलब क्या है? Stability of the pharmaceutical product may be defined as the ability or the capability of the particular formulation in a specific container or a system to remain within its physical, chemical, microbiological, therapeutic and toxicological specification. It is investigated, the stability of the medicine is investigated throughout the various stage of drug development process. मतलब जैसे शेल्फ लाइफ को किया है, वैसे ही ड्रग को डेवलपमेंट करते वक्त दूसरे दूसरे स्टेज आते हैं ना, तब स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ द ड्रग को एस्टिमेट करना चाहिए और इन्वेस्टिगेट करना चाहिए। इट इज फर्स्ट असेस्ड इन द pre-formulation stage. Then, at this stage, in the pre-formulation stage, pharmaceutical experts determine the drug substances, and then that first they what they'll do in the first stage or the pre-formulation stage, they'll understand the individual drug. The pharmaceutical experts understand the individual drug, and they try to assess the stability, and they'll get the information or they determine the stability of the drug substance. In the later stage, the stability of the drug substance with the different solvents, different buffered solutions, and with the help with the different excipients, how it reacts, they'll determine. Means in the pre-formulation stage, they have to investigate. Sorry. Then it is first assessed in the pre-formulation stage and during the individual drug substance, and that drug substance when it mixes with the different solvents or buffered solutions or different things, how it reacts and what is the stability of that formulation should be determined by the pharmaceutical expert. So, stability of the capability of the formulation in a stored place or the system within its few specification they have given. What are the specification? There are four types of stabilities that must be considered for the each drug. Okay, पांच तरह की स्टेबिलिटी बताया है. जैसे डेफिनेशन ऑफ स्टेबिलिटी में बताया है कि इट शुड रिमेन विद इन इट्स फिजिकल स्टेबिलिटी, केमिकल स्टेबिलिटी, माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल स्टेबिलिटी, थेरेपेटिक स्टेबिलिटी एंड टॉक्सिकोलॉजिकल स्टेबिलिटी. उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा अभी जानेंगे. तो टाइप्स ऑफ स्टेबिलिटी में केमिकल स्टेबिलिटी. केमिकल स्टेबिलिटी मतलब क्या है? जो भी मेडिसिन प्रिपेयर्ड हुआ है, फार्मास्यूटिकल प्रिपरेशन है, द एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑफ दैट फॉर्मुलेशन रिटेन इट्स केमिकल फॉर्म और द इंटीग्रिटी एंड लेबल पोटेंसी विद इन द स्पेसिफाइड लिमिट. मतलब जो मेडिसिन के ऊपर लेबल किया होता है, पोटेंसी होता है, ये केमिकल फॉर्म में होना चाहिए. अगर वो ड्रग स्टेबल है तो जो मेंशन किया है वो सब रिटेन होना चाहिए प्रोडक्ट में. दैट इज ईच एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट retain its chemical integrity and labeled potency within the specified limit. Next क्या है? Physical stability. Physical stability means the product should retain the physical properties including appearance, palatability, uniformity of the particles, dissolution, and the suspendability should be retained. Next is microbiological stability. The antimicrobial agents which are present in the formulation should lead to the retaining the effectiveness within the specified limit. जो लिमिट होता है हर मेडिसिन के लिए, उतना लिमिट तक जो इफेक्टिवनेस होता है मेडिसिन का, और जो एंटीमाइक्रोबियल एजेंट्स को डाला है उसकी वजह से जो इफेक्टिवनेस होता है उसको रिटेन करना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट इज थेरेपेटिक. द थेरेपेटिक इफेक्ट रिमेन्स अनचेंज्ड. अगर मेडिसिन स्टेबल है तो जो भी उससे थेरेपेटिक एफिकेसी हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं वो उसमें रिटेन होना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट इज टॉक्सिकोलॉजिकल. There should not be any toxicity if the medicine is stable, or there should not be no significant increase in the toxicity in that particular formulation. These are the 5 types of stability one should consider for the each drug. So this is about the stability in the contemporary science. The second topic here we completed. That topic was concept of saviryata, avahi, where we try to understand what the saviryata avadi means. Then, what are the classical references which are there for the saviryata avadi? Then, what is shelf life? Then, we studied about the stability from the contemporary science, or stability of the medicinal drug from the contemporary science. So, by this, we finish the fourth point of the syllabus, that is guidelines and methods for the collection, storage, preservation of the aushadhi dravya. Next is concept of saviryata avadi, shelf life, concept of stability in ancient and contemporary science. Thank you.